Hey, what's up, guys? Recently, I just went on vacation, and when I was on vacation, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel on my mobile phone because I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. I didn't want to connect my account, so I just made a new account, and I was like, well, what's the best deck I can use, like starting out, like fresh account. I already made a couple videos on the pendulum structure deck, so I didn't really want to do that one. I looked at the other ones, and it looked like you needed too much things in order to like actually make them viable. The cybernetic structure deck is actually very good. Just looking at it right here, it looks like a bulky mess, but getting 3 copies, especially starting out the game, you have like at least 1,500 gems. You can actually make a very viable deck with this. But yeah, real quick, if you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe. And I'm going to jump into the deck list and talk about the cards. And then at the end of the video, it'll be replay. So this is a structure deck as you buy it. This is 1 copy. If you bought 3 copies for 1,500 gems total, you'll have 3 copies of every single card you see here. And straight out the gate, there's a lot of cards which are decent. Like this card, Cyber Valley, it's pretty decent. But in order to optimize and make the best deck possible using only the cards that we have, and since I made a new account, I allowed myself to use the cards that are available in the bundle, such as cards like 1 copy of Ash Blossom, Infinite Impermanence, which is a very powerful card. Also, you get another card called Lightning Storm. And then if you play single player, even a little bit, I think like the first 1 or 2 missions, you get Raigeki and Monster Reborn, which are all powerful cards, which you can throw into the deck. So pretty much this is a structure deck as it is, just 1 copy. But if you bought 3 copies for 1,500 gems, you're going to have 3 copies of every card here. One very important thing to note is that not every card here in the structure deck is good. Like, let's look at this. Rebirth Judgment. Ultra rare. That's really valuable, right? One of the things with the structure deck is you can't dismantle it. Also, this card's not that good. If we want to make this the best version possible, we're going to need to take out a lot of these bad cards. But this version of the deck is just if you have 3 copies of the structure deck, you'll be able to easily bring out your big boss monster, which is unaffected by opponent's activated effects, extremely powerful. Besides that, you can bring out Cyber Dragon, a 4K beater who does pierce like very easily because you have a searchable trap called Cybernetic Revolution. This deck is just crazy. It'll be in the video description. This is just a pure copy with 3 structure decks. But I mean, I'm assuming you already have Raigeki and Monster Reborn. And this is the real version. This is the version that if you bought all 4 of the bundles, you can make this deck. And not only that, if you have at least a little bit of rare tickets, you can craft DNA Surgery and Chimera Tech. I believe this version of the deck to be the way stronger version because you have more powerful cards like Lightning Storm, which can get rid of all of your opponent's spell or traps or even face up attack position monsters. Infinite Impermanence is a nice trap to have in your hand or on the field. It can also negate a spell or trap if it's on the field, so it's kind of useful. And then DNA Surgery, just like it easily gets rid of any opponent's monsters because as long as you have this on the field and you declare machine, you can just tribute all their monsters. It's not really even tributing. You would fusion all their monsters to bring out Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. I'm going to be talking about each one of the cards in depth, so let's get into it. The reason we run 1 Cyberdragon Herz is because when he's sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 other Cyberdragon from your deck or graveyard to your hand. The reason it's good, and Cyberdragons are weird. Even though his name is Cyberdragon, and some of the other ones are Cyberdragon, this guy can only add this one monster, the original Cyberdragon. He cannot add these guys from the deck. I don't know why, but that's just how the game made it. The way to get around it is that when this guy is in the graveyard or Cyberdragon Core is in the graveyard, which are the only other 2 Cyberdragons in the deck, they become like the original Cyberdragon. And what that means is if this guy's sent to the graveyard and you have a core in your graveyard, it means you can add your core back. You'll be seeing in the replays that I do that. So it gets you more advantage. It's really easy to send this card from the deck to the graveyard. You have a lot of spells that can do that. And there's even a monster that can do that too. So this card can either be ran at 1 or 2 because it is very useful. It gets you more resources. The only reason it's good is because when it's sent to the graveyard, it gets you something. So that's good. Cyberdragon Core is one of the best normal summons in the deck, simply because when it's normal summon, you can pretty much add any one of the spell or traps, and they're good traps and they're good spells in the deck. Also, it has a really cool effect where if it's in the graveyard and your opponent controls a monster and you control nothing, you can banish this from the graveyard and special summon a Cyberdragon from your deck. It might come up, it's pretty useful, I think it's a good card. Next, we got one copy of Ash Blossom. This is from the bundle. It is a very, very good negate card. It can negate almost anything. If you've been playing a lot of Master Duel, you probably already know what this does. But, I mean, you should already have one free copy if you bought the bundle. Might as well put it in. It's a good card. Next, we got 3 Cyberdark Cannon. This has the effect where you can discard it from your hand and add any Cyberdark machine. We're only running 2 targets, Cyberdark Edge and Cyberdark Chimera. But it also has an effect where if it's equipped to a monster, you can send one monster from your deck to the graveyard. Usually the card you're going to send from your deck to the graveyard is either Herz or Core. The reason you would send Core is if you want to banish it from your graveyard to special summon, or if you want to also send Herz to add the Core from your graveyard to your hand. So there's a little bit of things you can do. It's pretty useful. I think these Cannon and the next one coming up, Cyberdragon Claw, are one of the most powerful cards in a deck because they search 2 cards. Searching means they look in your deck for a specific card and add it to your hand. Similar with Core, I really, really like Claw. Claw has the effect where you can add any of the Cyberdark spell or traps. This would not be good if the Cyberdark spell or traps were not good, but they're actually really good. Some of the searchable Cyberdark monsters that you can normal summon are Cyberdark Edge. What he does is when he's normal summoned, you can equip either Cyberdark Cannon or Cyberdark Claw. Those are really the only 2 real targets in your graveyard. And then he gains like 2,400 attack. Also, he can attack directly, but he only deals half that damage. And then the cool thing is, whether he is attacked or whether he attacks, you can activate either Claw, which lets you send a monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, or Cyberdark Cannon, which lets you send a monster from your deck to the graveyard. It's very, very good. Also, if he would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can just protect him by destroying the equip card. And then we have Cyberdark Chimera. We only run 1 copy. The reason is it's searchable, and it allows us to get a searchable copy of Power Bond. The reason that's so good is because Power Bond, although I don't really like the card, since it's searchable, it allows us to bring out big boss monsters like fairly easy, like whenever we need it, just having that option there. This also has a graveyard effect where if it's sent to the graveyard, you can send a Cyberdark from your deck to the graveyard with a different name. Honestly, that's only really good if you're trying to bring out this fusion, but there's a better fusion to bring out, so it's like it might come up if you really, really need it, but honestly, it's not that good. The best effect and use for this guy is simply normal summon him, discard a spell or trap, add Power Bond, and then bring out your big fusion. We run 1 copy of Cyberdragon. This needs to be in the deck simply because we need 1 search for Cyberdragon Herz. If there is no core in the graveyard and you send a Herz and you have no Cyberdragon in your deck, it has to be this version, then you're not going to be able to add anything. It's very, very weird, but that's how the game is, and you need to run this guy. Besides that, I think I just use him as discard fodder. I just discard him or whatever with him. He's not really important. He's just there because he's searchable and he gets you more advantage. Cyber Eltanin is very, very searchable in this deck. It has a unique effect where you banish all light monsters in your graveyard or on your field also, and then you send all other face-up monsters on the field to the graveyard. Very, very powerful. It's almost like a dark hole, but it's like a searchable dark hole. It's cool. It also doesn't destroy them, it sends them. So it gets over effects where they say, oh, cannot be destroyed by card effects. So it's a good card. I think you should at least run 1. Jizukuri, the star-destroying kaiju. This is also searchable in this deck, and the reason you would run this is because you give your opponent, you tribute one of your opponent's monsters. Let's say they have an effect that can like negate something, or maybe just pop one, like a Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, the Destiny Hero guy. You can tribute that, summon this guy, and then now they have a machine, and if you summon any Cyber Dragon, you can immediately go into Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, so you don't have to deal with giving them a 3,300 monster. It's a good card. You can also run it if you want to. Realistically, I feel like you only need 1, but yeah, if you want to run it, you can. I chose not to run it, but there are times when I'm like, man, I should have ran this card, you know? Then we got 1 Raigeki for board clears, 1 Monster Reborn. We can just take a monster from our graveyard, and we have big monsters we can take, or we can take one from our opponent's graveyard and kind of mess them up. A 1 Power Bond, it's searchable. I generally don't like this card, simply because it's not very useful unless it's specifically searched out with Chimera. Because when it's searched out from Chimera, you can use monsters in your graveyard, and this deck heavily relies on sending cards from your extra deck to the graveyard. And then we got 3 Overload Fusion. This card's really, really good. The only problem is it's like semi-searchable. There's 1 card in the deck that can search it out. Unless you invest in more cards in the extra deck, like Credit Plant Verde, that you can send this directly from the deck to the graveyard. This card is kind of hard to get. You just gotta hope that you draw it. Usually every card in this deck is like searchable besides like the power cards like Lightning Storm and Raigeki. So yeah. Cyber Emergency, it lets you add a light machine from your deck to your graveyard. It has an effect where if it's negated, you can like discard, add it back. Pretty much what this does is it adds you Cyberdragon Core, or it can even add you Cyber Eltanin. So it's pretty good. I like it a lot. It gets you a lot of searches. Lightning Storm destroys all opponent spell or traps. Another card that can do this is Harpy's Feather Duster. So if you want to run that, you can. It's an ultra rare, so if you don't own it, that's completely fine. This comes in the bundle. You should have it if you bought the bundles, which I highly recommend you doing. And yeah, this can also destroy all opponents' attack position monsters, so that might come up. Cybernetic Horizon. This card is weird. You can send one monster from your hand to the graveyard, then you send one from your deck, and then you add a monster from your deck to your hand, and then you send one from your extra deck to the graveyard. It's a lot of sending and stuff, but pretty much what this does is it's like, oh, you want a monster in your deck? Well, just activate this and you can add that monster. And also you get a bunch of cards in your graveyard, so you can use Overload Fusion, banish them, and fusion summon a big monster. Then we run one Cyberdark Inferno. You only need one copy of this because it's searchable. It is a fairly powerful card. It makes it so your Cyberdark monsters that are equipped, so pretty much Edge is your only one, is when he's equipped with a monster, he can't be destroyed or targeted by opponent's card effects, which has came up. It's kind of good. Also, he has the effect where you can target him, return him back to the hand, normal summon him again. The reason that is good is because you can re-equip the guy if he gets destroyed, or you can equip a different one. And then it has like a third effect, which has came up quite a bit, that if this card is destroyed, you can add one Polymerization or Fusion spell card from your deck. And the best target, and I think the only target really, is Overload Fusion. You want to see Overload Fusion. This is the best card in the deck, besides like Power Bond, but Power Bond you take damage at the end of it. So yeah, it helps you get Overload Fusion, which is really good. And this is probably the second best card in the deck, Cyberdark Realm. It adds you a Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from one in your graveyard. So pretty much you either add Cannon or Claw, because both of them get you like huge advantage and they get you like everything you need. Also, this has the effect where you can like normal summon again a Cyberdark, so you can like summon twice per turn, which comes up a lot. It has a third effect, which I don't think this came up once, but you can just like use an opponent's monster. We got Infinite Imperm. It's from the bundle deal. Very good card. This card's really weird. Cybernetic Revolution. You can run 1, 2, or 3 copies. I just recommend running at least one in your deck. This has the effect where you can tribute a Cyberdragon. You can even tribute Core. You can use Core, normal summon him, search out this guy, set it. And then what happens is you tribute your Cyberdragon and you bring out Cyber Eltanin, a 4,000 attack monster who does pierce. The only thing is he can't attack directly and he's destroyed in like the end of the next turn. So it's like 2 turns he's destroyed. It helps you push for damage. You bring out a 4,000 monster. The good thing is you want Cyber Eltanin in your graveyard, so you can use him as fusion material for Cyberdark Eltanin, the big boss monster of the deck, which is actually like really strong. We have DNA Surgery at 3, simply because we can bring out Chimera Fortress Dragon really easily using our opponent's monsters. And Cyberdark Invasion. I really, really, really love this card. This card is so powerful. What it does is you can either like search it out with Claw or Core, and then you can use the equipped monster that's equipped to your Edge, and then you can destroy it, and you get an effect when the card's destroyed. And also you can destroy an opponent's card. So it gives you a little bit of stun. You can like stop your opponent from doing things and you can hurt them. The extra deck is weird. We run Cyberdark Dragon. We're never going to be able to fusion summon this. We don't run Horn and we don't run Keel. The reason this is in here is because we're using this to send it from the extra deck to the graveyard. We want this card in the graveyard. The only way to get it in the graveyard in order to bring out the big boss monster, Cyberdark Eltanin, is by using cards like Cybernetic Horizon, which sends it from the extra deck to the graveyard, or Claw. I think those are it. And it's like, well, we only have like 2 targets in the deck, right? But they're very, very, very searchable. We have so many cards that search these 2 cards that we're going to be able to get this card in our graveyard very easily. We run Chimera Fortress Dragon because we run DNA Surgery. Cyber Eltanin is brought out. We want at least 1 copy of this in our graveyard. 1 copy, so that we can use Overload and we can bring out Cyberdark Eltanin, because this uses a Cyberdark Dragon and a Cyber Dark Dragon or whatever. So yeah, we need one of these in our graveyard, and we hopefully want to get at least 2 or 3 of the Cyberdark Dragon. If you can send anything from your graveyard, and you're like not sure what to send, send this guy. Send this guy. Unless you already have him in your graveyard, then you want to at least send 1 Cyber End Dragon. But if you have one in your graveyard, then send more of these guys, because the next fusion is Cyber Darkness Dragon. All of them have like dark in their name, bro. And this one is 5 Cyber Dark effect monsters. You can actually like do this really easy in this deck. You can get so many monsters in your graveyard without even trying, and you can just bring out this dude. This guy has a unique effect where you can send 1 card equipped to it to the graveyard and negate anything. So he's an Omni Negate. This guy has the effect where when he's summoned, you can equip a dragon or machine from your graveyard and he gains attack equal to its attack. But yeah, the reason this guy's useful is because he's an Omni Negate. Have I honestly brought him out in any of the duels? No. Have I had the option to? I have. But honestly, this is the reason that I didn't bring him out. Because Cyberdark End Dragon is the single best card in the entire deck. It's the best monster. It's so powerful. 5,000 attack. Unaffected by opponent's activated effects. That means if your opponent uses a mirror force, they use a Raigeki, they use anything to try to get rid of this, like by activating a card, it does nothing. He's unaffected. Extremely, extremely powerful card. Any card that's unaffected by something is usually very, very powerful, especially when it has 5,000 attack. Guys, the other effect where you can just, once per turn, target a monster in either player's graveyard, can be anything, equip it. This guy has like 2 equips, he can attack twice. If he has 3, he can attack 3 times. But yeah, that is a deck. Let's jump into some replays. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll be sure to answer them. I read all the comments. And I'll just say, yeah, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Let's go into the replays. I just want to say, sorry it's a long video. I just want to really go into depth for the people who like really want to play this deck. Our hand is really, really, really good. Normally your hand might not be this, and you're going to see Cyber Repair Plan. You didn't see in a deck list. This was when I was still testing out things, but this still has a majority of the cards that I like regularly use. First card we're going to activate is Cyberdark Realm. This lets us add any Cyberdark from our deck to our hand. We're going to add Claw because Claw has the effect where we can add any spell. We're going to add Cyberdark Invasion because it's really powerful. Cannon's always going to add Edge. Unless we need a Power Bond, then we're going to add the other dude. Edge is going to either equip Claw or the other guy. And the reason I equipped Claw is because I want to get cards in my graveyard so that as soon as I can do Overload Fusion and bring out my big boss. Core Normal Summon lets me add something. I'm going to add Cybernetic Revolution, just like, you know, because it's really, really cool. And yeah, pretty much this is my end board. This is a structure deck end board, by the way. I have 1 Disrupt, Cyberdark Invasion. If he does anything I don't like, I can destroy his card. The best part about destroying his card is that when Claw is destroyed, I can either add Claw back, like itself back, or I can add Cannon back. So it's really, really powerful. Cybernetic Overflow has the effect where I can destroy 1 card my opponent controls. So that might come up, like I have 2 Disrupts, and then I can just bring out a 4K body if I want to. First thing I do is bring out the 4K body, because I want to have Cyber Dragon Core in my graveyard, so that I can use Cybernetic Overflow. And I'm playing against Amazons, so I was like, that's pretty cool. So I have 2 Disrupts. I can get rid of him in 2 ways. He's going to do this, do that. Bring out a lot of monsters. He's going to attack and then send 1 so that he can do this. Cybernetic Overflow, I'm going to pop his card. Oh no, I don't think I popped it actually. I think I just used Cannon. So right here, there's a lot of effects going on. Since he's declaring a battle and he's attacking me, these equip cards, when they're equipped to Edge, they have a special effect. One of them is that you can send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. One of them is you can send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. Always, since I have a core in my graveyard too, I'm going to be sending Herz. Herz is really, really good here because I'm going to be able to add the core from my graveyard back to my hand. And also, I'm going to send the Cyberdark Dragon because I want him in my graveyard, because the only way to get him into the graveyard is by sending him. He's going to bring out like a really nice prismatic fusion. I'm going to summon the core back. Core gets me like an additional search. Invasion, I can pop a card. It's cool too because it's like so much advantage. So pretty much what's going to happen, Core's going to add me a card. Cyber Cannon, since it was like I had to use it to destroy one of his cards, Cannon has the effect where when it leaves the field while equipped, I draw 1 card. So I'm going to get a free draw. And he's doing a lot of effects. Like he's like bringing out like a full field of monsters. And I'm thinking like, I feel like I can get rid of them it doesn't seem that hard. So I'm like thinking, how's the best way to get rid of them? So repair plant grabs me this guy. This guy can actually get rid of them all really easily. And then I'm gonna use overflow, destroy one card. And yeah, he's just like, just so many effects. He's getting so many free specials. This guy's gonna send everything, every single monster on the field to the graveyard. Very, very powerful. Cannon's gonna add me another edge. And then I'm gonna be able to normal summon the edge using Realm and equip Claw. And right now I'm chilling. He's gonna use Monster Reborn, bring out his fusion again. His fusion's pretty good. And he's just gonna bring out like a bunch of monsters. Right here I'm gonna use Invasion, boost up my guy, so he's gonna be 34, 400 more than his. I don't know if his monster gets destroyed by battle. It does, and then he gets the field effect where he can bring out something. So right now I'm just chilling. I'm doing really well. He brought out like his whole field of monsters. But the thing with Cyberdragon is that this is not the end board. This is not the board where you go like, all right, I'm done with the game. This is as strong as I'm gonna get. I haven't even brought out my boss fusion yet, like the most important card. And as you can see, like I don't really have a real way to search him, except with that power bond guy. The only real card is Overload Fusion, which is like I can banish cards from my graveyard and then summon my fusion. But it's not really searchable, so it's kind of hard, unless you run Verite Anaconda. He's gonna Ash Blossom, Cyber. I'm like, it doesn't really matter, it doesn't do much. Normal summon again, just to equip again, and yeah, just gonna attack directly twice. He surrenders, and that was a duel. This is another hand. This is a good hand. As long as I have one search or one way to get to either Cyberdragon Core or Claw or even the other one that searches a monster, I should be fine. This is a lot of searches, honestly. Lightning Storm is going to be clutch here because I'm going to be able to destroy 3 Spore Traps, and he's running heavy traps. Like 3 traps, which are actually all really good and problematic. So I'm going to add a Cannon, because Cannon is the only way I can get a Cyberdark monster, like, efficiently. And then Emergency can add me anything. I'll just add another Core, because why not? I'm going to be able to normal summon the Core and search out any of them. I usually, when I normal summon Core and I can summon an Edge, I always get the Cyberdark Invasion trap, just because it allows me to pop a card, like, every turn, which is really good. And like always, I send Cyberdark Dragon from my extra deck to the graveyard. I want that in my graveyard. Next card I want in my graveyard is the 4000 Cyber Dragon card. It's Cyber End Dragon. I want that in my graveyard next. End phase, I get to destroy 1 card. This was a unique situation because he's running a card called Boo Boo Game. And if it's destroyed, he can like use 2 traps from his graveyard and set them. So he's going to get a lot of advantage, honestly. And then I'm like, damn, man, like, if I kept DNA Surgery, I felt like I would have been more comfortable, but I feel like I'm going to lose everything here. He's going to also negate the card in my hand. I don't lose DNA Surgery, actually, I was wrong. I'm going to lose a trap. I'm going to use a Core and search out another thing, Cybernetic Overflow. Then we got Cyber Emergency, search out another Core. We're going to go into Chimera Tech so we can deal a little bit of damage. The only real search I have in my deck was a Herz. That's why I took out Cyber Repair Plant, because it was just too much searches for cards that aren't that powerful. The best search for the Cyberdragon searchers is Core. If I already used all 3 cores, which I think I did, like, it's not that good. Realm is going to be pretty useful. It's going to get me an edge so I can get another powerful monster. And I'll bring another Chimera Tech. And then I have an edge. He's going to just burn me for a little bit of damage. Claw's going to be able to send my End Dragon. And I'm not going to summon my big boss monster yet. He's top decking. He's probably going to set a card, right? So here I'm like, okay, now I'm going to summon my big boss monster. You're going to see why I like him so much. Honestly, he is crazy good card. 5000 attack, unaffected by opponent's monster effects. If I declared an attack with any other monster, if I declared an attack with any other monster that wasn't him, I attacked with Edge or even like Chimera Tech, but mainly Edge. If I attacked with Edge, he would have been able to use Magical Cylinder, deal me 2400 damage exactly. I would have lost. But since I attacked with Cyberdark End Dragon and he's unaffected, I was able to win the game. So this card came in really clutch. And this is going to be the final replay. Just showing off, I have a core, and core searches me Realm. Realm is good here because then I can use Claw to search out any of the spell or traps. And then I can add Horizon, which can search me out any of the monsters. So I'm getting a lot of searches. I'm getting a lot of cards in my graveyard, as you can tell. And as always, I always send Cyberdark Dragon first for my extra deck to the graveyard. I need at least one copy in my graveyard in order to like bring out the big boss. And this is not a bad board. I can bring out a 4K monster. I have DNA surgery, so I can change all of his to machine. So I can like do that, you know. And then I have a claw equipped, so I'm pretty chill right now. So he's gonna attack this guy. I'm gonna send the end, so now I got the 3, so I can bring out my big boss monster. Claw's gonna be able to add me back anything. Add back a claw, just because Claw's so good. He can add back himself. Gonna set one card, and then Joker has the effect where you can like add it back to his hand or something. So right away I'm like, oh, this guy has a unique effect. His Link monster, where if he's like targeted, you can like negate it. Also, if he's destroyed by battle, you can like do something. You can special summon something from your deck. So I'm gonna bring out this Chimera Fortress Dragon, just because I get rid of his thing really easily. And he is Called by the Grave. Luckily, I baited it out right now, because I was about to use Overload Fusion. And if he is Called by the Grave there, I would have been kind of screwed. So yeah, Overload Fusion, bring out my big boss monster. And honestly, I don't know how he's going to get over this. I'm pretty sure the duel's already over. And Herz is going to get me a monster from my graveyard, a core, so I can normal summon that if I want for additional advantage. And he's going to live with like, what, 200 life points? And core adds me that, and I'm just chilling. But yeah, if you're looking for a new deck to play and you don't want to spend too many gems, this is definitely the deck to play. It is super cheap, 1,500 gems. That's really all you need. You can either use this version or the version that's like pure and it doesn't run any of the bundle cards. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you can, leave a like. I would like that too. I'm trying to grow the channel as much as I can. And honestly, I just hope you have a great day or night. And I'll catch you later. Peace.